go onto the main account. There it is. Where's the stream? There's Tier 2, there's Elite Series. It must be uploading onto the channel as I speak. Check on this. There's Pacific Tier 1. Stream's up. Audio is working, which is good to hear. The stream's up, the chat's up, we're all good to go. Fantastic. Hello everyone, and welcome to round 12 of the PlayStation Pacific Tier 1 Championship here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and this time we're racing at the Albert Park Street Circuit for the Australian Grand Prix. Constructed in 1996, the 5.3 kilometre 16-turn circuit is a demanding, tough-to-pass racetrack. It has 3 DRS zones to help the drivers out that lead into turns 1, 3 and 13. Turns 1 and 13 aren't usually passing spots, though we might see a bit of action into those corners. Turn 3 is definitely the best overtaking spot on the racetrack. The rest of the circuit doesn't really lend itself to overtaking. Similarly to last week's race in Jeddah, there are several high-speed sections that the drivers will have to worry about. Namely, the high-speed left-hander of Turn 5, and the most noteworthy part of the racetrack, Turns 11 and 12. Why is it still on board? There we go. It wouldn't let me get off board Grimmy's car. Now it will. Whatever. But yes, Turns 11 and 12. Both sections have claimed plenty of drivers over online league racing history, especially Turns 11 and 12. It's a very demanding and frightening part of the racetrack where even the slightest error will likely result in some catastrophic failure. Now, before we focus on qualifying, there is a little bit of news to go through first from last week's race in Jeddah. Now, there were 4 incidents which were reported last week, which totaled up to about 9 incident reports from several different drivers from last week's race at Jeddah. And that's not really a surprise. A lot of stuff went down last week in Saudi Arabia. But unfortunately, the stewards haven't done their job, and there hasn't been any reports from the stewards this week from almost any tier. They're just completely missing. So the results from last week are still provisional. The final results have not come around. The championship table has been updated with the provisional results, but keep in mind that they are only provisional. We'll have to wait and see what the stewards say with the incidents that took place, so then we can accurately put the drivers in their proper positions. In the Drivers' Championship, GeForce Crichton is leading on 236 points, followed by Spilly on 192. 44 points separate the top 2 in the championship. With only a few rounds remaining, it is definitely looking like Crichton more than likely will win the championship. But, this is online league racing. Anything can happen. GeForce Wogboy is P3 on 167. He's currently 25 points behind Spilly and 69 points behind Crichton. Then only 2 points behind Wogboy is GeForce Ford in the Williams, followed by Fiery Hour in P5 on 150. Plebs is P6, followed by his teammate Karma, then Chips, Scotty, and then Leo is a Weirdo, rounds out the top 10. In the Constructors Championship, Mercedes are leading on 386 points, followed by McLaren on 248. The gap between the top 2 is 138 points, and with the number of rounds remaining, it means if Mercedes-Benz outscore McLaren by 24 points or more, they will be crowned team's champion, as someone's had an accident. That's rude. He's crashed at the exit of turn 4. Right. So we have our first casualty from qualifying, as Crichton jumps up to the top, closely followed by Spilly, only 4,000 separating those two. Come across the line, goes P5. See what Hillis is up to here. He's making his way through the middle sector. So yeah, if Mercedes outscore McLaren by 24 points or more, they'll become provisionally team's champions. We'll have to wait what the stewards have to say. With last week's race in Jeddah. Aston Martin are third on 239, followed by Ferrari on 203, then Williams on 201. Completing the table, we have Alfa Romeo, Red Bull, Alpine, Haas, and AlphaTauri at the bottom of the order. And that's pretty much it in terms of news. Not too much to go through. Now we can just focus on qualifying. Hello, Tinsel. Hello, ACWKD, and hello, Prezzo. Oh, as Hilles has a spin at the penultimate turn, turn 15. Not too many drivers setting lap times at the moment. We've only got 6 times on the board, and we're already 6 minutes into qualifying. But then again, it's not really too much of a surprise. There are plenty of areas here where you can quite easily invalidate your lap. Here at turn 4, as an example, just running wide at turn 4, putting all 4 wheels over the white line. Instant invalidation. Isaac Kush jumps to the top of the table with a 20.7. Tinselman here making his way through the non-existent chicane of turns 9 and 10. This bit has disappeared on the real-life racetrack. It's been straightened out. Be interesting to see how that changes racing here at Albert Park for this weekend's Australian Grand Prix. Opens DRS heading down towards turn 13. Not a bad overtaking spot here into this right-hander, which was reprofiled in real life as well. One of a few corners that were reprofiled here in Melbourne. Heading around the penultimate turn, turn 15. And around the final corner, turn 16. Quite an important corner, as it dictates how much speed you carry onto the main straightaway. Tinselman crosses the line to set the 5th fastest time with a 1 minute 21.403. Plevs has invalidated his lap. Got a few drivers in the pits. Got a few drivers on in laps. It seems Wogboy... No, he's not on a flying lap. He's not using any battery. Grimmy's on an out lap. Is that... Are you on an in lap? Yes, you are. So we're hitting a brief pause here in qualifying. We'll have to wait a little while for the next driver to try and set a flying lap. Which I think might be Grimmy. I'll double check that though. Bags is coming through 1 and 2. GeForce Zach, Scotty, Roscoe. It might be GeForce Zach that is the first driver on a outlap. Still got 5 drivers who are still in qualifying, yet to set a lap time. It's just unfortunate for Rue that he crashed out at turn 4. Simple mistake to make. That outside curb at turn 4 is quite a notorious bit of racetrack. Quite a tall curb, so if you ride it awkwardly, very easy to lose the back end and put it into the wall. Now, Plebs, are you pushing here? Coming through turn 4. You appear to be. You're using a battery. Coming around turn 5. Heading towards the chicane of 6 and 7. Completes the first sector. Using plenty of the racetrack there. Coming around the sweeper of turn 8. Up towards the chicane of 9 and 10. Brings it down to 3rd gear. Clips the first apex. Short shifts to 4th gear. Uses the full width of the circuit on the exit of turn 10. He's now heading towards the infamous high-speed slalom of 11 and 12. Chucks it in 6th gear. Oh, it keeps it relatively pinned. There was a brief lift just before the apex, just so then he could keep control of the car. Coming around turn 13. Carry very nice speed around there. Around turn 14. Up towards the hairpin of 15. He invalidates at 14. Just running too wide on the exit of 14. GeForce Zach completing the first sector. According to the minimap, he's purple to the first sector, but we'll see what his time looks like at the end of the lap. Scotty just behind. He's making his way around turn 8, and Roscoe is following too. On the medium compound tyre as well. Zach heading towards 11 and 12. Chucks it in 6th gear. Carries plenty of speed. Very tidy from Zach there. Very tidy. Heading towards turn 13. Entering at 308 kilometers an hour. Brings it down to about 147 at the apex of turn 13. Keeps it well within the yellow lines. I suppose they are yellow here in Melbourne. Around the final corner, turn 16, he'll open DRS heads towards the line. And G4 Sack will set a 1 minute 21.1. He goes 4th fastest. Scotty is next, jumps up to P9, and Roscoe Arm ducks back into pit lane. Hilles is making his way around the first sector, heading around the notorious turn 5. Oh, you could see there the back end stepping out, refusing to cooperate on the Alfa Romeo, but he dragged the back end back in line. And he's still continuing on his flying lap. Coming through the chicane. Is that Kush getting ready? Same with GeForce Crichton. Spilly is currently up by 0.2 of a second to the middle sector. With that sort of improvement, he could challenge for pole position. He heads down the main straightaway with the foot to the floor, crosses the line, and, oh, dearie me, he must have backed out of the lap while I wasn't watching. Oh, and he's going to back out of this lap as well, making a tiny mistake at turn 2. And that's invalidated through the opening complex too, so his lap won't count. Alright, Crichton. Show us how it's done, I suppose. Heading down the main straightaway towards turn 1, entering in at 313 kilometers an hour. Oh, that's not how it's done at turn 2. Took a lot of speed in towards the apex of turn 1, overshot the corner, did a bit of low mowing on the inside of turn 2. Yeah, don't think that's how it's done. Coming around turn 5. You're still pushing? Yeah, you're still pushing. What does the clock say? He's only down by 700. So, well, there you go. He's invalidated at turn 6. Leo is currently up as 40s. Well and truly up. He's at the top of the table with a 1 minute 20.561. Leo now up by 1/10.5, making his way through turns 11 and 12, heading down towards turn 13. Gets on the anchors, brings it down to 4th gear, short shift to 5th to find the traction on the exit. Around turn 14, heading towards 15. Somehow doesn't invalidate there. Could have swore he had all 4 wheels over the yellow line. Around the final corner, turn 16, back onto the main straight with DRS open. He'll head up towards the finish line to set a 1 minute 20.952. 3rd fastest for Leo Izawido. Crichton setting off on another flying lap. Just under 5 minutes and 40 seconds left in qualifying. Alright, into turns 1 and 2. Will we get it right this time? Yep, looks like it. Carries a healthy amount of speed, but not too much to understeer wide at turn 2. Around turn 3, now around turn 4. Nice and easy, a bit sideways there, but that's quite traditional Crichton right there, being completely sideways. He's up by, I think that's 18 thousandths to the first sector. Couldn't quite tell with the on-air prompts getting in the way. Heading up towards 9 and 10, brings it down to 3rd gear, clips the first apex, keeps it pinned to the floor through turn 10, heading up towards 11 and 12. He uses 8th gear. Interesting. I haven't seen too many drivers use 8th gear. They tend to keep it in 7th, as Crichton was up by almost 0.2 to the middle sector. Carried plenty of speed through that high-speed slalom into turn 13. It's down to 4th gear, back on the power, and invalidates his lap, running too wide on the exit of turn 13. And he'll probably go back into the pits. I assume he's low on fuel, so yeah, he's going to come back in. Probably not too pleased with himself doing that. You're not on a flying lap, Karma. You're on an in lap. Tinselman's on an out lap. Plebs, are you on a fly? You might be. You're low on fuel. You're using battery. Oh, you invalidated your lap. Never mind. As Scotty's dawdling around, getting himself ready. Doesn't need to push too hard. On an out lap. Don't want to make any mistakes. And Hila's retired as well. Hang on. Hila's. Terminal damage. Yeah. I don't know if I picked that up, but I don't think I picked that up. Otherwise, I think I would have remembered. So we've got 2 drivers out from qualifying. Rude and Hilles out. They'll be starting from the back in 15th and 16th. That's if Plevs and Roscoe Arm set times. At the moment, neither of them have. Tinselman makes his way out of the final corner to set off on his potentially final flying lap with only 3 minutes left in qualifying. Remy's making his way around turn 3. He's on a flying lap himself. Currently 7th fastest with a 21.3. Oh, the back end stepping out there as Tinselman has backed out of his flying lap, invalidating through the opening complex. Scotty's now making his way around turn 3, heading up towards turn 4. Nice and steady from the Haas driver, not pushing the limits too hard. Nice and flat out around turn 5. Good to see he's up by a 1/10.5 in the first sector. Grimmy using all of the track width at turn 12 there. Fortunate enough to not invalidate his lap around turn 13. It's a nice exit, doesn't invalidate around turn 14. Oh, and somehow doesn't invalidate there. He had all 4 wheels well and truly over the yellow line. Around the final corner, he'll open DRS with the back end stepping out. And Grimmy will complete his flying lap. Stays 7th fastest, but does improve by just over a 1/10.5. Scotty's only got 2 more corners to negotiate. Currently P11 with a 22.3. He needs to improve by half a second to jump into the top 10. And the back end not cooperating on the Haas either, as he crosses the line to set a 21.4. He improves by almost a second. And he goes 10th fastest, just missing out on P9, which is currently being occupied by this man, Tinselman, who's had a bit of an awkward run through the opening 2 corners, a bit sideways, and he's backed out of the lap again. Spilly getting ready. He was going to improve, but he's invalidated his lap. Leo making his way around the opening sector, currently P3. Only 2/10 off Isaac Kush in P2, who has invalidated his lap. Fortunately, he's got enough time on the clock to try and set one more flyer. Leo's down by 37 thousandths of a second to the first sector. He's making his way around turn 8 towards the chicane of 9 and 10. Brings it down to 3rd gear, gets back on the power, short shifting up through the gears, uses a full width of the circuit as well at the exit of turn 10. Heading towards 11 and 12. He keeps it in 7th gear, brings it down to 6th gear for 11, short shifting to 7, then back down to 6, and he's invalidated his lap through that complex. He should have enough time to get another lap in, but he doesn't want to dilly-dally around. He wants to keep pushing, relatively speaking. Izzat begins what would be his final flying lap. 40's invalidated this lap, so his qualifying's over. So that's the benchmark. 1 minute, 20.561 seconds. That's the target. Crichton's up by 7 thousandths to the first sector. He's up by 3/10 to the middle sector. Making his way out of 12. Oh, ho, ho, ho. That thing was sideways at the exit of turn 12, but he kept the car off the wall. That was the important thing. He's making his way through the final sector. How much time did he lose with that mistake? Can he find any time in this final sector? He needs to improve by about 4/10 to beat 40. He's heading down the main straightaway for the final time in qualifying. Crichton will cross the line to improve by 2.5 to be 3rd fastest with a 1 minute 20.727. Izzat, meanwhile, is down to the middle sector by 87 thousandths of a second. He's making his way around turn 14, now towards 15 and 16. Leo's on his final flying lap. He's making his way towards turn 13. Izzat comes out of the final corner, heads down the main straightaway. Can he improve? Will he improve? He does improve. He goes to pole position with a 1 minute 20.528. Beating G-Force Ford by a fairly slim margin of 33 thousandths of a second. Meanwhile, Leo crosses the line to not improve, and in his dismay, he crashes the car. And that's it. That's qualifying over, and it's Isaac Kush on pole position. He found a plentiful amount of time in that final sector, and he's pulled pole position out of the hat, out of the magic hat. I'm sure 40 was thinking he had it right at the end of quali. And Zach got it. You reckon, Seb? 40 to spin? You know, that's not an outlandish prediction. Considering this is Albert Park, there are plenty of places to spin. But I'll keep that in mind. It is that on pole, followed by GeForce Ford, then Spilly P3, Crichton P4, then Leo, Zach, Grimmy, Roscoe Arm, Bags, and Plebs completes the top 10. Then we have Karma, Tinselman, Scotty, then GeForce Wogboy. 1 second separating all the cars that set lap times. 2 cars were unable to set lap times, being Rude and Hillez crashing out during qualifying. Yeah, you almost died. Yeah, that's putting it lightly, Zach. That took some saving, and then you proceeded to improve by 2.5 tenths anyway. So, yeah, that was a classic catch right there from Crichton. It was a pity. The outboard shot that I had before that moment wasn't a particularly good one that showed off what was going on. The second outboard shot, though, showed it perfectly with just a Mercedes almost facing perfectly perpendicular to where you should be facing. Session counter counting down. Get ready for the start of this race. Hello, Alcatraz. Nice to see you here. Heard you met up with the Prezzo brothers, because they're over in Melbourne with you for the Grand Prix. A lot of people going down from all sorts of leagues. I'm not. I am enjoying the Grand Prix from home and at the comfort of home. It's going to be nice. I'm sure the coverage will be quite good, actually, from Sky. I'm very much looking forward to it. Oh, hello, Jack. Hello, Bodlord. Hello. Welcome. Hopefully we all get to enjoy a nice race here. We'll run through the order. See who's starting where and who on what tyre. And, well, it's quite a convincing story, isn't it? Only 2 cars are not starting on the soft tyre. And that's Karma and Wogboy in P11 and 14. Everyone else is starting on the soft tyre. That is with the little asterisks, of course, that the top 10, they're starting on worn tyres. And Tinselman, Scotty, Rude, and Hillez, they're starting on fresh tyres. But, yeah, that's only a minor discretion. No, I reckon this is going to be an interesting race. I have a feeling we won't see too much in terms of wheel-to-wheel racing, but we'll probably see a fair bit of drama. I reckon it's going... Hillez almost goes up the back of Rude there. So the drama has already begun on the formation lap with an almost collision. Oh, goody. You know, so Wogboy and Karma, they're the only 2. My goodness, there's a lot of dust. Look at all the dust. It's being kicked up. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, only 2 drivers on the mediums. Well, best of luck, Karma and Wogboy. Hopefully you can keep up with those in front of you, because if you lose touch and you don't have any DRS, then you're going to be a sitting duck. Especially on a racetrack that has 3 DRS zones and is as quick as this. I mean, you do got to remember, Albert Park is a pretty quick racetrack. Not too many slow bits. Oh, yeah, everyone's lining up back into their respective grid slots. We could get this race underway. 16 car field. It's not as big as it could be, but it's a healthy size field, so we'll definitely take it. We've got some quality drivers competing as well. And we're ready to race. We've got 29 laps in front of us, and Ted red lights, and there's a jump start. And it's lights out, and away we go here in Melbourne. And 40 gets a half-decent start, but Izzat gets a better one. We're heading down towards turn 1. Who takes the lead? It's Izzat. 40 and Crichton are almost side-by-side through turn 1, but 40 gets in front. He takes P2. Izzat's got a 1-second lead already. They're heading down towards turn 3. It's 3 wide here in the midfield. Contact between the Alfa Romeo and Ferrari there at turn 3. That would have been G-Force Zach and Grimmy and P9 making their way around turn 5, heading towards the chicane of 6 and 7. Everyone just trying to sort themselves out. Grass being flung up there at turn 6. Drivers trying to get back into the rhythm of the racetrack, heading towards the chicane of 9 and 10. Oh, looking down the inside, Tinselman on Grimmy. Can't get it done though at turn 10. Heading towards the infamous chicane of 11 and 12 now. Karma on the back of Rosquam. He can't do much here. Just have to follow the car in front. Everybody getting through unscathed, it seems. Change of position here. Plebs getting by Bags. Why is it on this camera shot? I don't know. But Plebs is now in front into 7th place. With a fairly controlled start, Rude does have a drive-through penalty, which he must serve for a jump start. Karma's lost a few positions. He's now down to 14th. He's being pushed around a little bit by Hillers. He's now got Wogboy right behind. He's still maintaining that 1-second lead, so he's making that start count. As, oh, well, Rude gets a 5-second penalty as well for speeding into the pit lane. Ouch. Oh, dear. All right. 1.1 seconds is the gap. And he's got to take advantage of that clear air he's got, try and pull away. 40's got to do his damnedest to keep up with the AlphaTauri driver, not let him break away. Through the chicane of 6 and 7, the gap still hovering at around a second. Heading around turn 8 towards the chicane of 9 and 10. The gap, they're fairly even in terms of pace at the moment. Is Adam Ford. Nice to see. Coming through 11 and 12. Oh, he's on the grass there, Crichton. My goodness, he used all of the track width and then some there at the exit of turn 12. Spelly almost a second behind Crichton. He needs to keep up with Crichton as best he can. He can't afford to lose DRS. And in fact, almost everybody is within a second of each other. G4 Zach is only just outside of that 1-second range. As a few drivers setting new fastest laps. Seems Crichton's the fastest overall with a 24.2. DRS is now enabled. You use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead. In the DRS zone, as the great Jeff would say. Heading into turn 3. Zach's losing time to Leo. Gap's increased to 1.4 seconds, and Zach is going to start creating his own train of cars behind him as the leaders break away. The grass being flung up again at turn 6. Drivers trying to use the full width of the racetrack, take advantage of every inch you can get into 9 and 10. Leaders making their way towards 11 and 12. 40 a little bit closer than last lap. Now only 7 tenths behind. Carries a lot of speed out of turn 12. Very committed there. And he closes the gap with the help of DRS. Grimmy gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He's currently in P9. 40 now half a second behind. And he's going to have the help of 2 DRS zones down the main straightaway and the straightaway after turn 2. 40 closing the gap. 4.5 tenths, 4 tenths, 3.5 as he sets a new fastest lap. Into turn 1, you don't want to pass here. I'm going to try and pass into turn 3. Easily the best overtaking spot on the circuit. He's 2 tenths behind. And he's... Oh, I don't think he'll go for it. He won't. He wasn't using any battery. He wasn't going to try and attack. He's just going to stay behind Izzat for now. I think Roscoe got a 3-second time penalty. Karma and Wogboy have just changed places. Same with Hillers and Scotty. So Scotty's down to P13. Karma's down to 15th. So those medium runners, yeah, they've lost time. Oh, as Bags has crashed out at turn 5. Fortunately, he's still in the race, but he's got a destroyed front wing. There's debris on the racetrack. We haven't got a VSC or an SC for that matter. And he's got to do a whole lap without a front wing. Oh dear. He's going to lose a bucket load of time. Leaders making their way into the third and final DRS zone on the racetrack. Heading towards turn 13. Not quite close enough. Or is it the second DRS zone? I wonder what... Would the DRS zone on the main straight be the first DRS zone or the last one? I suppose it would be the last one, I guess. I mean, it does start all the way back here, and the finish line is, I don't know, a good 500, 600 meters away. I don't know. Never really thought about that. 40's close, but he doesn't want to go for the move. He's playing a long game here. Unlike Tinselman, who's moved himself into P8 down the inside at turn 1. And 40's got by Isaac Kush around the long way at turn 3. With this group of cars, Grimmy. Oh, Tinselman coming out of 3. Grimmy stays in front. Heading towards turn 5. The cars keep him nice and straight. Don't want to be too sideways through turn 5, otherwise you'll end up like birds. Poor fella. Oh, it's close here at turn 9 as Plebs goes through into P5. It was very tight, the entry to turn 9. Plebs wasn't willing to give much room to Spilly. G-Force Zach is now on the back of this too. So we've got a 3-car fight for P5. Heading down towards turn 13. Spilly isn't close enough to attack here. Neither is Zach. In the background, though, it's 3 wide into 13, and Roscoe moves himself into 8th place. A nice move down the inside. Heading towards the penultimate turn of 15. Oh, I thought we'd see at least one person try a dive bomb, but no, they all stay in line, relatively speaking. Spilly goes in on lap 6. Bit early, is it not? Front wing change? Yeah, front wing change. So he got damaged at some point. Maybe he and Plez actually collided, I'm not sure. Back towards the front. Lovely aerial shot here. Saw this aerial shot on Sunday during Pacific Elite, and I do rather like this one. Nice top down. And it lasts for a while too. Heading around turn 8 towards 9 and 10. Maybe it would be a bit better if it was a bit more zoomed out, so you can see a bit more of the racetrack. But all in all, it's a pretty solid one. Look at this. Heading down towards 11 and 12. The top 3 are well and truly gone. They got a 2.6. Make that 2.7. Second margin to Leo Is a Weirdo in 4th place. Is that losing time through 12, as you'd expect, having to deal with all the dirty air. Bit of movement there, a bit of weaving, bit of gamesmanship. Good to see. Sees it. Make sure that Crichton knows that is looking at him with that bit of weaving. Is that not just focusing on the car in front, but also a little bit on the car behind. Well, he's just given himself a 3-second time penalty. He might have done himself some good focusing on himself. Heading around turn 1 and into turn 2. Sector 3, yellow flags. Tinselman's out. He has crashed out on the main straightaway. We have a safety car. You can see the stationary dot on the main straightaway. That stationary greyish, bluish dot that is Tinselman, the dead AlphaTauri. Spilly's coming up. Well, that's going to be looked at, huh? Oh, well, that will be looked at as well. Hang on, fellas. What he... Oh, no, Zizat has left the session. Oh, my God. One's done the Raikkonen and the other one's done a Hamilton. Bags, he stays out. He's a good boy. As Zizat's now down in 3rd. Yeah, you can't pass the AI, dingus. Might be ghosting, but you can't pass the bloody thing. Alright, everybody's pitting, by the way, onto a set of mediums. Everyone except for the 2 medium runners in 10th and 11th. This was their worst case scenario, an early safety car. It's kind of screwed them over. Into the pits we go. Well, look. And there's a Vettel impression. A lot of people doing impressions tonight. Into the pits goes Crichton for a set of mediums. What do you know? What about Izzat? I bet it's hards. Yeah. Sorry, Izzat, buddy. Yeah. What do you expect, though? The game suggests a soft hard, so it's going to do a soft hard. You know. Everyone else has put it onto mediums. Wogboy and Karma, they've had to pit onto the hard tyre. That they didn't have a choice. They could have stayed out, but that would mean they're a pit stop behind everybody, and that doesn't help you at all. So you might as well come in, put on the hard tyre, and hope for the best, basically. First DRS zone after turn 2. Yeah, fair. I just never really thought about it before. Like, what would they categorize as the first DRS zone and the last DRS zone? Yeah. It's just a bit strange. That's alright. Yeah. I feel for poor old Izzat. But he's not out of it. If he can rejoin, try and get the most out of those hard tyres. And I wouldn't recommend pitting if he rejoined either, because he's going to lose a lot of track position. And around a track like this, it's not easy to get that back, especially against opponents of Tier 1 quality. They're not easy to pass by any means. But I completely agree with you, Tinsel. I hate this track too. This is not one of my favourite circuits as a driver at all. There are just so many areas here that can trip you up. You got awkward curbs at almost every corner. You got high-speed sections that can easily screw you over, particularly 11 and 12. It's just not a particularly enjoyable track unless you're a masochist. So, yeah. I used to actually quite like Albert Park once upon a time when it didn't have death curbs. As Karma and Wogboy pit, that makes sense in their position because they were already towards the back to begin with. So yeah, you might as well. I didn't actually think of that. That's a good idea. Get off the hard tyre onto another set of mediums. They only lose a couple of spots. It's nothing in their position. Whereas Izzat, if he pits again, he's going from third to last. And yeah, it's going to be tough to come back from that. We'll have a quick glance at the penalties as well, because we do have a few out and about. So Izzat, Roscoe, Grimmy and Rude all have 3-second time penalties. And this safety car saved Rude as well. Remember, he got a drive-through penalty for jumping the start right at the beginning. So he needed this safety car and he's got it. And he's now in 12th place. I'm surprised Izzat hasn't been able to rejoin. Has he got some sort of issue? Could probably check. Give me a minute. He hasn't said anything in Tier 1. I don't know why he hasn't rejoined yet. Strange. You're all sitting on the same count. Yeah, right. Fair enough. Got a live audience. Sitting on the couch, watching it on TV. That would be pretty nice. Oh, hang on. Leo, yeah, get back behind, bud. Has he gotten away with that? Have you really gotten away with that? You're kidding. You cheeky bugger. How did you do that? Well... Alright, well, he's into third now. 40 controls the field and he bolts. Not a bad restart from 40. It's half a second between him and Crichton. As we go back on the green flag racing here in Melbourne, it's now lap 10 of 29. A bit of weaving going on in the background as drivers get their tyres up to temperature. Plebs drives through Izzat to move into 4th place. Roscoe gets another penalty, increasing his tally to 6 seconds. Roscoe under a bit of pressure from Grimmy, who was not quite close enough to attack into turn 3. And Rude, not a great restart from Rude. 1.7 seconds, 1.8. He's lost a fair bit of time to those in front. Hopefully he can find some speed. Potentially he could have damage as well. That's another possibility, that he has a little bit of damage that is affecting him quite a bit. Is that getting swamped? Because the AI is very slow. Midfield are making their way through 11 and 12. Upper midfield, I should say that. Crichton just 3.5, make that 4 tenths behind. He's making his way around the penultimate turn. And we know Crichton, he doesn't like to sit around and wait. So, go get it kind of guy. So even with DRS disabled, it won't stop him from trying to pass 40, I presume. Coming through turn 2, 4 tenths behind. Closes in a little bit, thanks to the slipstream of the Williams into turn 3. Yellow flags, Roscoe is out of the race. There he is there. And we have a safety car. Another safety car. So Roscoe losing the back end at turn 2. He's put it into the wall on the left-hand side of the circuit. And he is out of the race. Now, second retirement, we're down to 14 cars. Oh, another period of doing nothing, I guess. Don't think anyone will pit unless somebody has damage, which is entirely possible. We'll have to wait until the leaders catch up, I guess. That's unfortunate for Roscoe. He was up well inside the top 10, but yeah, just made a mistake at turn 2 and put it into the wall. Plenty of drivers have done that. Safety car's waiting at the exit of turn 2. So hopefully 40 will recognise that and not pass the safety car, because that'll just cause a whole heap of problems. And then turns 1 and 2 now. There is the safety car. There's the yellow light. Don't pass it. Not allowed. Don't you be a cheeky bugger. Ford. Yeah, very funny. Yeah, you can tell he's watching the stream. Quite ACW. People really don't like Izzat's ghost car. And you can't really blame him either, because he's going as fast as a Formula 2 car. He's just being a bit of a hindrance. Especially on restarts. He's just sort of there. And he should be unable to pass, but Leo just passed him like it was nothing. So... Now we're just going to wait 2 or 3 laps until we're back under green flag racing. Just a bit of a worthless safety car. Don't provide us with anything. There's the position change. Those who have gained the most, we got Rude up 4, Hillez up 8, Scotty up 6, same with Plebs up 6. So the biggest gainer is Hillez. Starting from the back, thanks to an accident in qualifying. It's made up 8 places. He's currently inside the top 10. Biggest losers, Spilly's down 6. But with the safety car periods, it will give him the opportunity to try and gain places back. But is that down 9 thanks to his AI driving like a... I don't know. I was going to say Nikita Mazepin, but I feel as if that would probably be in poor taste. He's a very slow F1 driver. I don't know, Ricardo Rosset, Yuji Ide, name a couple. Point is, the AI is driving very... What is the rating? Out of curiosity. I am curious. Simulation settings? 70. Well, there you go. So it's on hard difficulty between 60 and 79. Yeah, not driving particularly quickly. Hopefully we go back on the green flag racing at the end of this lap. Hopefully. Luca Padoa, yeah, that's not a bad one. There were a few average drivers in Formula One that graced us with their presence. As the safety car goes back into its natural habitat in the pit lane, 40 will get ready to restart this race. See the drivers trying to get plenty of temperature into their tyres. Very important that you do so. Temperature is a very important thing to manage in these cars, especially tyre temps. If they're not within an optimal range, they're basically useless. Doesn't matter the compound either. You always want tyre temp. Same with brake temp. Brake temp is always good to have too. Don't want your brakes to be too cold. 40 sets off. He's got a half-second margin to Crichton, similar to the previous restart. And we're back under green flag racing. A lot of weaving going on down the main straight. Drivers trying to get even more temperature into their tyres. Leaders are heading down towards turn 3. Crichton was a bit sideways there. And he's got Leo right behind. He's trying to draw alongside. Crichton, though, he's going to try and shut the door here. And he keeps P2. That's what you expect from Crichton. Doesn't give you a great deal of room as Ruud has spun out. That is at turn 3. But he didn't force Leo off the racetrack, you may have noticed there. Didn't push him onto the grass. Just gave him literally just enough room, quote unquote. Grimmy looking down the inside of Scotty there at turn 9, around turn 10. Bags moving up a position, overtaking the AI of Izzat, same with Karma. Heading into 11 and 12. Great camera angle there for that particular corner. Doesn't show too much of turn 12. Around turn 13. Up towards turn 14. Something I wish they utilised more was curb cameras. I reckon those are so cool. V8s use them pretty well. V8 supercars use them pretty well. But in F1, or in the F1 game anyway, they just don't. I always thought they were a pretty cool camera to use. 40 maintaining his lead, but Crichton is keeping the gap at about half a second or so. He's not letting the Williams go. Heading around turn 5, heading towards the chicane of 6 and 7. The gap is hovering at about 6/10 now. Through said chicane, Crichton closes the gap a little bit. 40 and Crichton, they're pretty even at this stage. Leo isn't falling too far behind either. He's still well within 1 second of Crichton, and Plez is there as well in P4. Heading towards 11 and 12. Oh, as Hilles has spun. He's doing some lawn mowing on the inside of turn 10. He rejoins down in 13th place. Long ways behind of where he once was. 40, Crichton at the front. Half a second still separating the two. Heading around turn 15, heading towards the final corner of 16. The gap shrinks to 3/10 as Bags gets a 3-second time penalty. Down the main straightaway, we begin lap 16 of 29. DRS is now enabled. Into 1, then into 2. See there, 40 not tempting fate, abusing the track limits as G-Force Zach does exactly that, and as a result gets a 3-second time penalty. Heading towards turn 4 and towards turn 5, the gap shrinks that little bit more. Talking a couple thousandths, a couple hundredths here and there between these two. Leo is still within a second of Crichton, so he's not out of this yet. Neither is Plebs in P4. Heading into 9 and 10. We'll see DRS at play in a few moments' time. Heading towards 11 and 12. Crichton won't be close enough to attack into 13. But he will gain a healthy amount of time as we've had a moment at turn 10. It's Bags Liddell. He's destroyed his front wing. Yeah, about a 7 out of 10 flick spin there. Gets the car pointed back in the right direction and gets going. He will have to pit to get that front wing fixed. Not a great day for Bags. 2 spins during the race. It's not helped him at all. Exiting the final quarter, heading down the main straight. A bit of a wiggle there from Crichton. Heading towards turn 1. Grimmy gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Through turn 2, the gap is 2/10. Will he use battery here? The answer is yes. DRS wide open, heading towards turn 3. 40 keeps the car in the middle of the road. Crichton, he thought about it. He 100% thought about it. But didn't commit to it. Instead, goes for it at turn 4. 40 gave him room, and he maintains the lead. Through turn 5, towards 6 and 7. Crichton can't do much here. He's moving the car left and right, filling 40's wing mirrors around turn 8. Heading towards 9. Here comes the Mercedes. 40 defends the inside line. Can Crichton keep it on the outside? The answer is yes. He has the inside line for turn 10. Now they're heading towards 11 and 12. Maybe 40 can back out. He can get DRS down the straightaway before turn 13. Through 11. Through 12. Here comes 40 with a whole heap of momentum and with DRS to boot. He draws alongside the Mercedes. He passes the Mercedes back into the lead. A big lock up as well into turn 13 for 40. Oh, and Crichton looking down the inside at 14. 40, Crichton, side by side. 40 backs out. Leo's now involved as well in P3. Plebs isn't too far behind as well in P4. Heading on to the main straightaway. Crichton has DRS. 40 does not. Oh dear. Could this be an opportunity for Leo perhaps to try and get by? He needs a good run through 1 and 2. Sends it in. Oh, I don't think he's got a good enough run. He hasn't. If he did get the run through 1 and 2, he could have challenged Ford for P2 into turn 3, but he lost time. Just a few hundredths, but that's all it takes. And he stays in third. Through turn 6 into third. We're supposed to be looking at G-Force Ford game, yet we're still looking at Leo for some reason. You can see the indicators on Ford, but we're looking at Leo because this game is great. 10 out of 10 Cody's. Magnificent game. Heading towards 11 and 12 again. 40. Oh, yeah. Will you be close enough? Well, using all of the track and then some. Not the greatest of runs through turn 12. DRS to help him out though. Closing the gap, not by enough. Scotty and Grimmy are close. Can Grimmy go for it? Not quite. But he is right behind Scotty. He could attack very shortly. Similar story with Spilly and Zach as well. The battle for P5. 40 has DRS. He's trying to follow Crichton as best he can down the main straightaway. Down towards turn 1. He won't be close enough to attack here. But he will be close enough to attack into turn 3. If he gets turn 2 right, or which he hasn't. A little bit of oversteer at the apex. It didn't cost him much time. But he's not going to go for the attack. He hasn't used any battery. to attack Crichton. Another lock-up from Crichton there at the entry to turn 3. As Grimmy gets by Scotty into turn 3. He's now into 7th place. Wogboy and Karma, they're just behind. Spilly still working away here at GeForce Zach for 5th place. Making their way through 6th and then 7th. Then into the sweeper of turn 8. The gap is only 0.4 of a second. Meanwhile, out in front, Crichton maintaining his lead, but only just. Ford is giving him a hard time, and they still have Leo and Plebs for company, as Bags Liddell sets a new fastest lap with a 23.7. Heading down towards 13. He's not close enough to attack here, Ford. He has to stay behind. Try and apply pressure to Crichton through this final sector. Try and create some sort of error from the Mercedes driver. Doesn't do too many of them, Crichton. Won't stop 40 from trying, though. Heading down the main straightaway. The Williams will close in by quite a bit as well. Such is the power of DRS. Through 1, into 2. Heading down the straightaway towards turn 3. 40. He's not using any battery still. Into the hairpin. Another lock-up from Crichton. Cutting the grass as well. As Spilly gets by into P5. Just slingshots by with absolute ease. Zaki needs to try and keep up as best he can. And already the gap has increased to 0.6 of a second between Spilly and Zach. 40 still working away. Waiting for the right moment to strike. Coming out of 10. Look how close they get to the wall. Full commitment. Using every inch of racetrack they can use. 40's got a good run out of 12. He's closing the gap. He's looking. But he doesn't commit to the move. He stays behind the Mercedes. As I said earlier, he's waiting for the right moment. Doesn't want to go just yet. If for the right moment, then go for it. Coming around turn 16, heading back onto the main straightaway. 40 will close in by quite a bit here. Heading towards turn 1. And he shuts DRS early. Through 1, into 2. They're heading towards turn 3. 40's close. Crichton half defends that inside line. Oh, 40 going around the outside at 3. He'll give him the inside line at 4. They're side by side through the left-hander towards turn 5. They're still fighting side by side. Leo's now involved. 40 takes the lead. Into 6. Crichton settles himself in 2nd place once again. And Leo and Plebs are right there, waiting for their right moment to strike. Through turn 10, heading towards 11 and 12. Crichton will sit in behind, sit in the slipstream. Through 11. Then through 12. Crichton won't be close enough. Nowhere near close enough to attack here. He'll stay behind. Wait for his moment to strike. Heading towards turn 14. The gap is half a second. Crichton having to cope with the dirty air. He's hovering still at about half a second. Hasn't really gained time, but he will gain time down the main straightaway. Here we go. He'll open DRS and close the gap with the car ahead. Now 3.5 tenths through turn 1 into 2. Will Crichton go for it? Don't think so. Not using any battery. He's not close enough. Through turn 3. Heading around turn 4 now. Towards 5. And very close between these 4. It's been great to watch. Karma gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. We're getting towards that point in the race. But the penalties will become a factor. You can see the tyres. It's really not much of a factor with tyres. Everyone's on the same compound, essentially. It's going to come down to the pens. You can see a lot of drivers with pens. The only ones that don't are the top 5 and Wogboy in P9. Down towards turn 13. Crichton still not quite close enough. Heading around turn 14. Hilaires a 3-second time penalty, increasing his tally to 6 seconds. Heading down the main straightaway with the back end stepping out. Typical Crichton style there. He's pushing hard. A spin for Grimmy, I think. Yes, it is. Gets back onto the racetrack. Oh, and he spins again. Poor fella. With those tyres horribly out of whack. Down the inside, Crichton is looking into turn 3, and he gets the car in front. An audacious move from our championship leader, but he takes the lead back. With only 7 laps to go. 5-second penalty as well for Grimmy for speeding into the pit lane. You do have to be quite careful. It's only 60 kilometers an hour. It can catch you very much off guard. Fortunately for this year, because the pit lane has been widened, the speed limit has increased to 80 kilometers an hour, which is quite nice. A lot better. Through turn 11, then 12. Yellow flags. What boys into 7th? I have absolutely no idea what just happened. 40's now got a time penalty next to his name. He's got 3 seconds. Oh dear. Sort of spoils the battle a little bit now. Time penalties involved. It won't stop 40 from battling though. Here comes the Williams driver down the inside into 3. Crichton doesn't fight it. Lets him through. Now the battle for the win is pretty much between Crichton and Leo. Plevs is in this too in P4, which will soon become provisional P3 once penalties are applied. Heading around 9 into 10. Heading towards 11 and 12. The gap increases a bit between Ford and Crichton to 6.5 tenths through 11 and then 12. Don't see too much from Crichton here, not close enough to attack the Williams or G-Force Ford. Heading towards turn 14 and towards turn 15, the penultimate corner, and around the final corner of turn 16. Right, he's got DRS and he's closing the gap. Doesn't want to attack here into 1. Will he want to attack 40 now, knowing he's got a 3-second time penalty? Or will he want to just try and stay behind Ford? I'll be quite curious to see what he does, because his main rival is Leo in the Alpine now. And Plevs, if he can get a bit closer to Leo, a bit closer to Crichton, he could get involved for the battle for the win. Heading towards 9 and 10. Drivers trying to keep within the yellow lines. Heading towards 11 and 12 once again. Crichton's closer than last lap. Leo now gets a time penalty. 3 seconds. At turn 12, and look at the frustration, weaving his wheel. He can't believe it. His chance for a win gone for now. Maybe Crichton makes a mistake just like Leo did just then. Oh! He was skating into turn 15. I reckon he dipped that right-hand side wheel onto the grass. That back end stepped out. The engine note dropped completely. So Crichton, can he keep it within the yellow lines? Can he stay penalty free with the laps remaining? If he does get a penalty, then Plebs is in with a shot to win this race. Heading towards turn 6 and 7. Grimmy gets a 3-second time penalty. Crichton using all of the curb there on the inside of turn 7. Into 9, then 10. He doesn't have to do anything silly here, Crichton. All he has to do is stay behind 40. Just play the patient game. DRS and is closing in. Or will the racing driver in him say, mate, I want to finish first on track, not just through pens. Suppose we'll find out what he'll do. We're around 15, around 16. DRS and he will close in. It's a real pity when penalties get involved in these battles. It completely ruins the racing. Because we were having a four-car fight at the front. And now 2 of them have got pens and it's absolutely spoiled the battle. But the 2 who don't are in 2nd and 4th. And they're currently not doing anything as to not get any penalties. It just sucks. Because we were on for quite an entertaining finish between these 4. And Spelly's closing in at a rate of knots. He's now just 2 seconds behind Plebs. Well, there, I spoke too soon. Sorry, Spelly. He's just got a 3-second time penalty. Yellow flags. Is that... What, boy? No, it was Grimmy. Poor fella. Probably trying to get out of the way, I guess. Heading around the final corner. G-Force Ford will begin. Lap 28 of 29 as Karma gets a penalty, increasing his total to 6 seconds. 2 laps to go here in Melbourne. Oh, I'm just disappointed. There was so much promise. Oh well, that's racing, I guess. Through 3, around 4. Gap is 4/10. Bit of a wiggle there again from Crichton. Through 5. Then into turn 6, then 7, then into the sweeper of 8. Crichton playing a very patient game. As he should. Really. Absolutely no need to battle now. He's got it in the bag. Heading towards 11 and 12. Nice and tidy there from Crichton. Plebs currently penalty free as well. He's looking at 2nd place here in Melbourne. Great bundle of points, and I think with Plebs and Karma scoring as much as they will in 4th and 9th, they will keep the team's championship alive as Grimmy gets a 3-second time penalty. He now has 15 seconds. G-Force Ford would now begin the final lap. Lap 29 of 29 here in Melbourne. The final 5.3 kilometres of this race. Down towards turn 3. Crichton is low on battery. He doesn't need to do a thing. Just follow the leader. Grimmy has retired in the pit lane. I think with the amount of laps he's done, he will be classified in 14th, so he will score something. So, I suppose it saves him from doing the last lap. Fair play. I can understand from his position. Just keeping it tidy. This is the last really important section to get through. Crichton keeping it well within the yellow lines. No mistakes from our championship leader. Plebs very much the same. Heading towards turn 14. Leo's closed the gap. And it won't mean much. He'll be finishing in 4th place at the end of this race. And Crichton makes his way back onto the main straightaway. He'll take the checkered flag and win the Australian Grand Prix, with Plebs taking 2nd and Ford taking 3rd. I do apologise if I sound disappointed. That's only because I am. Because the game robbed us of a very entertaining finish. Spilly P5, Logboy P6, then Zach in P7, Scotty in 8th, Karma in 9th, and Hillez will be the final driver inside the top 10. And it's a bit of a wait for the rest of the field to finish. Heading on to the main straight. It'll be 10th for Hillez, making it double points scored for Alfa Romeo. Not a bad day in the office for the Swiss outfit. And Bags will be our final finisher, as Zach Kush wasn't able to rejoin for whatever reason. Driver of the day given to Plebs. We'll see how he fared in the final results screen, but for now, it's podium celebrations. And it's another victory for Crichton. He will continue to extend his championship lead. And unfortunately, even with his effort, Mercedes won't secure the Constructors Championship tonight. We'll have to wait until round 13 when we head over to Italy for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. So, the unofficial final results of the Australian Grand Prix. GeForce Crichton wins by less than a second to Plebs, who started from 10th and finished 2nd, making up 8 places over the course of this race. GeForce Ford finishing 3rd, followed by Leo in P4. Mega effort from all 4 of these drivers. They drove very well. Just unfortunate penalties spoiled the party. Spilly P5, followed by Wogboy, who made up 8 places himself from 14th to 6th. Then GeForce Zach, Scotty making up 5 spots to finish 8th. Karma making up 2 to finish 9th. Hillers making up 6 to finish 10th. And Bags, Liddell, CBF Rude will be our final. Grimmy will be classified, I think, 13th, because Izzat wasn't driving. That was his AI. So he'll be classified as a retirement, I think. Roscoe and Tinselman were our other 2 retirements. Grimmy scored the fastest lap point as well with a 22.7. Well, that over. We could probably invite the top 3 in. We can have a chit chat about what happened over the course of that race. Mercedes, that one. Alright, I'll invite the top 3 in. I'll blue screen for a few moments just to invite them in. Add players. Where is everybody? There's 40. Where is Plebs? Because I know Crichton is offline. Plebs? P. Plebs is offline? Oh god. Is he really offline? Must be. Scrolling down. Down. Crichton. Plebs. There he is. He's offline. Interesting. Hello, you 3. Some race, huh?
Huh?
Some race.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried our
It
best.
should have been, but
Yeah,
anyway.
we tried.
Yeah. Well, it's not your fault. It's game and penalties just spoiling the fun. So.
It is.
All right, with all three of you here.
No, I got to keep it on track, Bailey. What are you talking about?
Oh, fuck. When we're talking about such fine margins and the game does not give a damn, it, kind of spoils the
Give me
fun.
back for 2019 track limits, dude.
Oh, yeah. But, oh well, this is what we got. It's consistent enough to where even by the slightest of margin, if you put all four wheels over the track limit line, you're getting a warning. Unless you spend an extended amount of time off the track, then it's fine. So,
yeah.
Anyway, we'll start the interviews off. We'll go from third. We'll make our way to the top as we usually do. So we'll start with you, 40. You drove quite well today, and I think you'll be quite satisfied with your drive, I assume?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a podium. So yeah, definitely no complaints there. I felt like I had good pace. It's just a shame, as we were talking about, that penalty, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, just sort of spoiled the fun of it all. I was
Yeah.
quite looking forward to that battle between you four, but
100%. I feel like it was getting a little bit, you know, Zach and I were battling really well, and it would have been interesting to see what came down to the final couple of laps if there was no penalty. But you know, if Zach wanted to be behind or I wanted to be behind, it was it would have been interesting.
Yeah, I think it would have been too. But qualifying went decently. Qualified second. You were pipped right at the post.
Yeah.
By Kush. Did you think you had it right at the end?
I thought I probably did. Yeah, I didn't expect Kush to come out with just half a tenth quicker than me. Or
Yeah, it wasn't
got.
much.
So no, he did well for that. I mean, I put in a pretty good lap. I think a 4 was probably the absolute most I could have done. So
okay.
a 5 on my middle run was pretty solid, I thought.
What happened towards the end of qualifying? Just couldn't get a lap together?
I just invalidated straight out of turn 1. I was like, oh well, there you go.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's all it takes.
Got to drive the rest of the lap, just watching everyone go past me now. But yeah, that's fine margins, as we were saying, and yeah.
But no, how was the race on your end? Because
yeah, I feel like I had a pretty good setup for this track. I mean, the car was slidey, but it was quick. You know, if you can control a slidey car, it's always quick. So yeah, I felt like I was pretty comfortable leading the pace most of the time. Obviously Zach was right behind me, putting on the pressure. So yeah, we had a couple of good battles here and there, did what we could. But yeah, it's I guess race just felt really quick, to be fair. Felt like after that second safety car, it was just over. So yeah, I don't know. I think I drove well. You know, I think the podium shows that, even though I got the penalty. But yeah, we got a bit lucky with Leo and Spilly also getting a penalty.
Yeah, Leo was quite frustrated with his. I rode on board with him just after he got a massive weave down the straight. He was not happy with himself.
Yeah, okay. Right.
And Spilly did it at turn 9 and 10, I think, if memory serves me right. And
yeah, my 3 were the first one I got. I was actually following really close to Izat out of turn 1. Yeah. And I'm so close behind him that I've kind of like kept turning left a little bit early to get a good exit.
Yeah.
And I've got one on the I guess entry to turn 2, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Rather than exit turn 1, and then I got another one on the exit to turn 1, and then one out of turn 12. So they were my 3.
Ouch.
So all fair enough, you know. Nothing I can do about that. Just my own fault, really. So yeah. Other than that, yeah, good race. So still P3, so I'm happy.
Coming up to a break now, fairly lengthy one. You keen to just chill out for a few weeks?
Yeah, I am, to be fair. It's been flat out racing for a little while, so yeah, quite happy for a break. I'm not here for the race after this one as well, so I got an extended break, but yeah.
Oh, righto. I was going to say, how you think you'll do at Imola, but never mind. Well, I won't.
I don't like him there anyway. I don't think I have pretty good results there for any time I've raced that track, so
can't relate.
No one to miss.
Might have something to do with the tyre pressures or something, I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of them. Nah, but even last time we went around here in Pacific, I had a shocker. Yeah, I just keep spinning on that track for some reason. I can't help it, it spins. Anyway, good track to miss, so
that's it.
If you want to ask me the track after that, I'll tell you how I feel about that.
Mexico?
I like Mexico, there you go. Yeah, that's a good track.
I think it's I know the last one's Yes Marino.
Yeah.
The one before that, I think, it's Mexico. I'm pretty sure it's Mexico.
Mexico's good. It puts a bit of pressure on me missing this next round in the championship, trying to consolidate P2, but yeah, I guess I'll just have to drive a bit better.
Well, you're going to the Grand Prix, aren't you?
Yes, correct. I'll be there this weekend.
All 3 days?
Sure. All 3 days. Yeah, not 4, just 3. Thursday's my exploring day.
Exploring day. Oh, fair enough. Well, enjoy the Grand Prix 40.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your P3 result tonight.
Cheers. Thanks, Meg. Cheers for chat.
We'll move on to P2. Mr. Plebs kept it out of trouble. We got P2 as a result. Must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I am. That's pretty good result. I think that's my second podium and second P2 of the season. So yeah, I was pretty happy with it. I was really mad after quali because I was
tense. Yeah.
I did like 4 invalid laps and then like just had to do like a 90% lap at the end to get a banker, and I was only P10, so I was pretty annoyed.
I did know. I think you and Hilles were 2 drivers that left it right to the last lap to put it. But that's just Albert Park in a nutshell. Just really easy.
Yeah, I just had to get a lap on the board. But yeah, anyway. And then the race was obviously a lot better. I got another good start and made a couple of moves, got up to P7 first lap, and then overtook Zach, and then I think a couple of Izat dropped out, disconnected, and then Spilly spun, and then I found myself in P4, and then that's pretty much where I stayed the rest of the race. So yeah, I was just really hoping the guys ahead would pick up the pace. They were pretty slow, and I'm just kidding. It was the complete opposite. I was hanging on for dear life. I was using battery to stay in the DRS. They were really quick.
Like, mate, could you fight a bit more, please?
Yeah, there was a couple of times where they battled, but yeah, no, that's
Have to do it.
But I didn't even get my Imola joke about the tyre pressures.
No, I did. Okay. I just backed it off. Yeah. Straight off.
Fair enough.
Don't want to hear that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, not much else to say. I just stayed where I was and hoped the boys ahead got a penalty because I didn't really think I was going to get close enough to overtake. Seemed like Leo was struggling in some corners. I think maybe he was running lower downforce possibly. So yeah, but yeah, there's no chance trying to get further ahead in terms of track position. So yeah, just keeping it where I was and make sure I didn't pick up penalties. I had 2 warnings as of lap 15, so I had like the last 13 laps not to get my last one, and managed to do it. So yeah, pretty stoked.
But in a few weeks we'll be heading over to Imola. How do you think you're going to fare over there?
Imola, yeah, it's been a bit of a mixed bag for me. Yeah, I just don't like that downhill, uphill section, whatever it's called.
Aqua Minerale.
Aqua Minerale, that's it. It's yeah, the car's a bit loosey there.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's very fast on approach, and yeah, just doesn't want to cooperate at times.
It's pretty fun. I won the endurance race there earlier in the season, so maybe I'll go alright. I don't know. I didn't race him last season in Pacific. Missed that one, so yeah.
Alright. But you're going to the Grand Prix as well?
Sure am. Yep.
3 days?
Yep. Wow. Yep. Thursday to Monday. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I hope you enjoy.
Catching up with these boys. Good. A few others.
But no, I hope you enjoy your time.
Thank you, sir.
Melbourne. And congrats on your P2 finish. Kept it clean.
Cheers.
Got a big result out of it.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to our race winner. Keith Crichton, another W for you.
Hey.
Season.
Thank you.
Yeah, not a bad effort from you at all. P3 in qualifying, and that's with a freaking huge slide.
Oh yeah, you like that one?
Yeah.
It's probably one of the largest slides I've had in quali, and somehow the lap
you still improved by 2.5 tenths. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, just...
quali didn't really go to plan. I was struggling a lot with turn 1 actually, just choking a little bit, and
I noticed that.
I think I got invalid. Yeah, my turn 1 and 2 were very slow, and then middle sector was rapid. I think pretty sure that Bailey said that I was the quickest there by a little bit.
2/10.
Yeah, a couple of tenths. So
Okay.
certainly had the pace there to do a low 20. I think we were doing. So,
Alright.
but yeah, was quite happy to take P3, especially after that slide. I was like,
Especially after that, yeah.
Oh, exactly. I was like, we
I
could be
don't
down to
know.
P6 if that was invalid.
Like, saving it's one thing. Continuing to improve on your lap time after doing that is another thing entirely. Like, you did a 20.7?
Yeah, 0.7.
0.7, something like that at the end. Still improved by 2.5 tenths somehow. I don't know how you did it. But, no, that was a great classic catch, basically.
Cheers.
And then the race, how did it go from your end?
Yeah, mega start. So I was quite happy with my launch there and stuff. I knew that I've had fairly decent starts all season long so far, so thought maybe I should be able to get Spilly off the line, and I tried to attack Bailey, but it was a bit too tight there into turn 1 and couldn't quite get it done. And just sat there in P3 and safety car came out about lap 7 or something. I was planning on pitting around lap 8 and just trying to undercut Bailey and Kush, but I think Bailey had the same idea as me on that one, so I probably would have gained one spot maybe. And then Kush lagged out, and towards the end had a mega battle with Bailey, and it was awesome battle actually. It's probably our best one so far. I'd say Bailey.
It was good to watch when you two did actually battle, but obviously when the penalty.
we try make
it was good to watch for those moments where you did, but obviously when the penalty came around,
as soon as Bailey got that penalty, I was like to him, just stay ahead of me and stuff, because I saw Spilly was 4 seconds behind me, so I thought if I can try and help Bailey get ahead of him, then that kind of helps me as well. So I kind of just sat there a little bit, and then Spilly and Leo got a pen themselves, and just sat there, chilled, and was like, we'll take the win. So quite happy with that.
Yeah. Unfortunately for us watching, it wasn't the most entertaining thing ever.
But, sorry about that.
Well, no, it makes complete sense. That's just the nature of the game.
I feel like you would have tried to get that last lap overtake, but my patience
that's racing.
Exactly. So I just had to be smart there and just take the win, not try and get another couple warnings there and lose that win and second place. So just got to try and keep going with this championship. I think now it's about 59 points with 3 rounds to go. So just need to try and bring it home now.
Pretty comfy between you and Spilly
it's
at
all
this
about
point.
Consistency. Yeah.
And next round, there's a fairly solid shout that you'll wrap up the Constructors Championship as well for Mercedes. You've got a pretty heavy.
Thanks to
big lead.
Fari. Thanks to Matt actually, because he didn't know Fari's pace, so it was good to take Fari Hour. I'll happily claim that free Constructors Championship. But
But speaking of next round, we're heading over to Imola. How do you think you're going to fare over there?
Imola. Honestly, I don't even know how I went there last season. I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure Spilly won there last season.
You finished
the track.
You two battled.
I don't know. Did we?
A little bit. You had a pen there.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully I don't get a pen this time, and we can try and go one step better. Or
how do I remember that? I do a million streams a week. How do I remember that? Whatever.
But it's a track that I haven't won at. I guess obviously it's the second time that we'll be going there, so it's a track that I'd like to, just tick off. So looking forward to going there and having some great battles with the boys.
And you're going to the Grand Prix as well, I presume?
Yep. Fly out tomorrow.
Oh, fly out tomorrow, fair enough.
Yeah, fly from Sydney tomorrow morning. Still got to pack my bags, still got uni work to do.
Airbnb?
Airbnb, yep.
Fair enough. A few mates that I know are doing the exact same thing, so a lot of people going down to Melbourne in anticipation for the Grand Prix. Well, enjoy the Grand Prix, Zach, and congratulations on another victory in Pacific Tier 1.
Cheers.
But, that'll wrap up this stream, and for a while we'll wrap up racing on Race Spec, as we're on a bit of a break thanks to the Grand Prix and thanks to Easter as well, so we won't be racing for a solid 3 weeks or so. But I think with everything said and done, it's time for us to wrap up the stream. Tune in throughout the week as there's still some racing to come here on Race Spec Esports. But for Pacific Tier 1, we'll have to wait until, I think, the 20... Oh, goodness. 29th or so? That sounds about right. Oh, at the end of the month.
You're telling the story.
I think it's 20. Yeah, I think it's the 25th.
25th.
That's so long.
Mr. Race Spec should know, should he?
Yeah, you should know. Come on, he's put his finger out here.
Pressure's on now.
26th?
Yeah, no, 26th. That was
There you
one
go.
day off. 26th. Yeah.
Alright, so 26th of April for round 13 of the championship, where we head over to Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari, or better known as Imola, for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye.